All right, and we're back for another episode of the Deliberate Dropout. I'm here with my co-host Ljupco Stojanovski Jr. Standing, 6 foot tall, power forward. I know, dude. I'm like, an inch, probably an inch away, or depending on what shoes I'm wearing. So I'll give you a couple inches.
Right there.
I'll give you a couple inches. Anyway, we're back on another episode. We've got more in the hopper here to talk about, that decision of dropping out. What do you do today? Specifically, want to focus in on you've already made the decision to drop out. What's next? What do you do next? What are your immediate action steps after you've made the choice? Maybe you haven't taken action yet, but what are those next steps? So, Ljupco, I'm going to turn it over to you. Let's start at the point of making the decision internally, even if you haven't taken action yet. What do you do? What are those first steps that you recommend taking?
Yeah, for sure. So I would go like, all right, you want to drop out, you want to do this, but I feel like 80% of it is what you do after, right? Because you could drop out and just be a bum after. You could actually do something that's productive. So that's the hard part too. I feel like learning a high income skill, for example, that's the first question you got to tackle. Yep. Okay, I have no security. I have no degree. I have nothing to fall back on. Most of the time, if you have a degree, you have kind of that's safety. I don't know if you want to call it safety net, but you feel like your
perceived safety. Yeah.
Perceived safety, like your ego feels fulfilled. I got this. Society said to get it. I got it. You feel protected. You feel in your tribe. So if you don't have that, what do you have to offer them? The only thing left is a high, you have to go for the high income.
Got to be valuable. Yeah. Got to figure out how to be valuable.
You got to be valuable, bro. You can't go for an hourly wage at a diner or whatever it may be, because that's not you got to go for, you have nothing, you got to go develop a skill as soon as possible.
Yep.
What I would do, just go look at what's out there, social media. I know you have some insights, Mitchell, maybe you could recommend some things that are in the market, but
yeah, well, I think that, I would probably come at this from a different approach. And again, I don't have the lived experience of, I actually dropped out of college. Mine is more I finished the thing and I suffered through 3.5 of the 4 years I suffered through, but I mostly didn't go to class, and I found a way to still maximize that time outside of the classroom. But I don't think you can count it as dropping out of law school or MBA program, because I did it the week before classes were supposed to start. So I don't really think that counts, but I'm reflecting on that time. Let's say I'm 18 to 22. I've made the decision to drop out. What am I going to do is what I think my psychology would need is I need to know my lowest level Maslow's hierarchy of needs are taken care of. I need to go get a job that I'm going to make some money. I don't care what it is. If I've already committed to it, I think that for me, it's I'm going to go to the grocery store and I'm going to convince them to give me an hourly wage job that I can at least pay my bills. So that removes the biggest anxiety of, am I going to be okay? Am I going to be able to eat? Now, I think your approach was so much more self-confidence than mine, because mine comes from a place of mitigate the risk. And then from a place where the risk is minimized, then I'm in a position of more strength where my fears are subsided a little bit. But I don't necessarily know either one is right or wrong. They definitely have pros or cons. You probably got where you were trying to go faster, because mine is let's take these detours for safety's sake, and then we can start working on the things that's going to help us get farther ahead. So I think it either way is right. It's a matter of your risk tolerance, your appetite for maybe some pain, and how comfortable are you going all in on yourself? At that age, my confidence wasn't at the level yours was, especially if I'd have been dropping out of college. My confidence wasn't intact the way yours was. And so I would have taken a longer route. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's facts, man. It's risk tolerance, bro. That risk tolerance is how much can you tolerate? How much pain? Man, I effed up my credit because I did that. So it's not it was a perfect.
There were cons, yeah.
Yeah, opportunity cost, man. There was definitely cost to it. I wish I handled things a little better, but for sure, risk tolerance is a big one.
Yeah. Well, I think a little bit later, especially if I knew what I knew now, I would go drop out and I would go, they tell you the advice about that maybe this is like, not a nice thing to talk about or whatever, but they tell you, like, you always see all the movies, they're talking about like some guy goes to prison and he's like a scrawny guy, and they say, just go find the biggest guy that you could find and hit him. Like, don't let anybody take you. Like, that's kind of what that, like, looking back at that point in my life, knowing what I know now, part of me is like, man, that's the way to go. It's like, go find the biggest opportunity that scares you and go punch for that one. I think about like the first job I got out of, well, I guess his second job I got out of college, but I'm going to tell a quick story. Is like, I was unhappy in my first job. I was doing, working in financial services for about a year, unhappy. And I decided I was going to take action. I was going to do something. I didn't have a plan yet. But I knew I was unhappy and I had to get out of there. And so I went into my boss's office. I told him I was quitting, and he was like, you're going to have a hard time finding a job. You need to stay here, trying to sell me on this. And I told him, like, this is a point in my, life. I was out of college. I was a little bit cockier and had a little bit more confidence. I told him, I'll have another job in 24 hours. It's like, I had no idea what I was going to do. It was like, I'll have another job in 24 hours. And so I put on a suit. I printed out like a whole stack of resumes. I put on a suit and walked door to door to every law firm in the town where I went to college, because I had already decided, law school, MBA, that's the next step for me. That's the thing I'm most interested in right now. And so for me, I had that confidence and I had an interest. I didn't know how to solve the problem, but I was like, hey, these are the tools I've got. I got a suit. I'm happy to, it's like 100 degrees in August. And I walked door to door. And after like getting told no, or to like go to hell, like 15 times, like my 16th time, I walked into a law firm where they, their legal assistant was about to leave. And so they're like, we're about to put a job posting up and need somebody. And I got hired on the spot that day. And I tell that story to say, like, even if you go all in and don't have a plan, it's a matter of like, what tools do you have in your chest that you can go take out and use immediately? For me, it was like, I'm willing to hustle. I don't know how to solve this problem. I'm willing to hustle. I know what I'm interested in. I have a rough idea of where those opportunities exist. And like, I know I need to eat. So like, that's kind of giving me some urgency. Yeah. I wasn't that bold or probably confident in college to go make that transition. But a few years in between, I think that I developed some confidence. I think that your approach, though, it's still like, those opportunities exist, that whether you have a degree or not, like it's a matter of like, what are you willing to do? Your risk tolerance, your approach doesn't have to be perfect, just go do something,
do anything, bro. Like, take some type of action, do anything, bro. Grocery store, learn something, take an online e-marketing, social media marketing, something, bro. Yeah. The action's important for sure. Like, even in your story, like, damn, that's what I'm talking. That shit, that gets me pumped, man. Like, damn, let's go.
Yeah. And even if it's not like, for yours was, I think it's like, I've identified this one area of interest. I've identified high income skills, like high income career path, but also like skills I need to build. For me, it was more just, sure. Which I think that's like black belt level awareness and like much longer term thinking. Mine was like, I didn't have as much clarity as you. And mine was more like, I'm interested in this thing. I know where I can go explore those interests. And I think either one of those is fine as a next step. Is like, either identify a skill that you're going to be all right if you go all in on this, and figure out a way to go pursue that skill, or like an area where you can get mentorship in that skill, or just pick something you're interested in and identify where those opportunities exist and take action there. And I don't think that it has to be some kind of crazy job. It could be waiting tables. If you want to build sales skills, go wait tables. That's an opportunity you could access today with what you have. You could go sell used cars. That one may be a little bit harder job to get than waiting tables, but it's about kind of like what your story sells. And I love is like, I had clarity about what outcome I wanted. I wanted to develop sales skills. Mine was like, I don't care what outcome. I think I want to be a lawyer, so I'm going to go that way. And I just think that sometimes we all convolute what we're trying to do with like all these hurdles and all these other things, when it's more so just like, get clear about the outcome you're trying to achieve. And mine was, get in closer proximity to my interests. Yours was, I want to develop these skills. And through the lens of those very clear outcomes, it becomes a lot easier to figure out how you can achieve them.
Like I was saying, man, like nothing, everything in this life, man, that I have right now, like nothing was given to me, man. Like I had to earn that stuff. So whether like no connections, I had no degree. I dropped out. I didn't really have any, like everything I had to work for it. So where I was going with this is the confidence comes from competence.
Yep.
Like if you're not like, if you're confident any other way, you're probably just deep down, you're not confident that you could do it. So you're just boastful. You're just telling people how great you are because deep down, you're not willing to bet on yourself.
You're covering up the insecurities.
You're not willing to bet on yourself. If you bet on yourself and you actually do what you're going to do, then you're confident because you feel competent.
Yep.
That's what it comes down. Like, I don't know, bet on yourself. That's why I like at some point, just bet on yourself, whether it was you with the resumes, me with the door to door. That's no ROI on that. That's infinite.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome, man. Well, I hope that, if you're listening out there to this episode of the Deliberate Dropout, you've got a few pointers about immediate action items once you've chosen to make that step, once you've chosen to drop out of school, drop out of college, what to do next, and different approaches. That there aren't wrong approaches. It's figure out what it is you're trying to accomplish, even if that's just, a mile down the road, and then go take action. Don't get too stressed about what people are saying or about your roadblocks. Just go take action and make progress. If you've enjoyed this episode, you're watching on YouTube, drop some comments below, hit subscribe. If you're on one of your other favorite podcast players, leave us a review. Let us know other topics about dropping out that you'd like to discover. We'll be back again soon with another episode.